Good evening and welcome. This is News First Primetime News live on MTV and Shakti TV from our News First Centre here in Colombo. I am Shaheen Jarongpati.
And I'm Katharina Chang. Now before we get into your stories in detail, let's first take a look at the headlines tonight.
President officially opens the 8th Parliament of Sri Lanka, stressing the need for consensual politics.
එදිරිවාදී දේශපාලනය කරනවා වෙනුවට සම්මුතිවාදී දේශපාලන සම්ප්‍රදායන් ගොඩනැගීමට මාගේ දූර කාලය තුලදී මා දරන අධිෂ්ඨානශීලී ප්‍රයත්නයට ඔබ සැමගේ සහයෝගය සහ කැපවීම රටේ සහ ජාතියේ අභිවෘද්ධිය වෙනුවෙන් ලබා දෙන මෙන් මා ඔබෙන් ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
Karja Surya appointed as the Speaker. Tilanga Sumantipala appointed the Deputy Speaker. Former ITN Chairman Anura Siriwardana questioned by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. 22 years after, India wins their first Test series on Sri Lankan soil.
Sessions of the 8th Parliament of Sri Lanka were officially declared open this evening by President Maithripala Sirisena. Keeping with tradition to the British state opening of Parliament, President Maithripala Sirisena was escorted to Parliament by horsemen.
ஜனாதிபதி மைத்ரிபால சிறிசேன அவர்களை வரவேற்க காத்துக் கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள்.
Before the President delivered his first speech to Parliament, a guard of honour and a gun salute was accorded to the President in keeping with the tradition of Parliament. The throne speech, which was later known as the Policy Declaration in 1978, is a speech delivered by the leader of the government that obtained power and highlights the government's policies and future course of action. Thereby, President Maithripala Sirisena announced the government's policies today.
ජාතිකාණ්ඩු සංකල්පය මත පදනම්ව
The two main political parties will bring about a consensual alliance based on the national government concept. The main aim of the national government is to promote reconciliation and economic growth. It must also see that the human resources are developed to successfully face domestic and international challenges in the world even beyond 2020 and move the nation towards development.
The President also elaborated on the crackdown on corruption and the economic and foreign policies.
My government will continue to crack down on corruption, fraud and waste and strengthen institutional structure, thereby punish those who exploit national resources no matter who they are. I will not hesitate to take them before court as well. I believe that the Buddhist economic vision in the country is an important resource and blessing. What we should give our children is not a country with a high record of consumption. But what we need to do is create a country that will see high levels of satisfaction through less consumption. We have entered the century of Asia. Therefore, starting today, we will focus our attention towards a non-aligned policy with emphasis on Asia in terms of our foreign policy.
The President also extended an invitation to the intellectuals in the country and those residing abroad.
I am extending an invitation to the Sri Lankan intellectuals spread across the nation and abroad. In the consensual political system that is being built in the country, your knowledge and expertise will be important for the development of the country. Therefore, I expect that you would accept my invitation and return to the country. The intellectuals who return to the country will be given a red carpet welcome. The government will establish a special task force supervised by me in order to coordinate the return of these intellectuals.
The President concluded his speech with a request from all the MPs.
During my tenure, I hope to build a tradition of consensual politics rather than vengeful politics. I kindly request that you all support my objective initiative for the sake of the country and the nation. From this moment on, the understanding between the two parties will be the foundation for all political parties and public representatives in Parliament to further build a consensus and strengthen a good political culture. I also request that you focus on these factors for the betterment of the country. That is my kind request from you all.
ප්‍රධාන වේත්‍රධාරී නියෝජ්‍ය වේත්‍රධාරී සහ සහකාර
என்று அழைக்கப்படும் அறையை விட்டு
Appointments for several key positions of the 8th Parliament of the country, including the posts of Speaker and Deputy Speaker, were made today.
Parliament convened at 9:30 this morning, and the first order of the day was the appointment of the Speaker. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe proposed the name of Karu Jayasuriya to be appointed as the Speaker of the 8th Parliament. The motion was seconded by Nimal Siripala de Silva. Thereby, Karu Jayasuriya was appointed as the 20th Speaker of Sri Lanka history unanimously. Subsequently, the MPs were sworn in before the Speaker, and the party leaders extended their wishes to the new public representatives.
We have debated and struggled. Therefore, some may question as to how we can come together. On the other hand, the nation requests the parties to come together to solve the people's issues. The President took the leadership in this regard. I appreciate the support extended by Mahinda Rajapaksa, and I also appreciate the support by Chandaka Bandaranaike Kumaratunga.
We request that the new electoral system be introduced within a period of 1 year, according to the agreement that has been reached with the United National Party. Therefore, you have a grave responsibility in this regard.
Those who were seated at this August assembly before saw the ruling party on their right and the opposition to their left. Therefore, the Speaker was at ease when it came to making certain decisions. However, today the Parliament under your leadership is riddled with many complexities.
As public representatives, we have the responsibility of maintaining stable peace and national security while safeguarding all the communities in the country.
You might realize after some time that there is an opposition within the opposition. We believe that you will intervene to protect the rights of the opposition, no matter how small it may be.
This is a moment where two major political parties of the country have come together to form a national government. Therefore, the UMPA and the SLFP are required to agree to work under a consensual political system.
I have taken a decision to sit as an independent MP in Parliament while representing the UPFA. We need to represent the opposition. Therefore, it must be said that we have no intention of joining with the government.
The committees need to be strengthened. Everyone needs to be given the opportunity to work in the committees. If the 8th Parliament is successful in this endeavour, you will lead it to a fruitful venture. If there's a resolution made by this chamber to make this nation into a federal state as requested by some factions here, we will not be able to regain that power even with the use of weapons.
An MP cannot speak of weapons. You can oppose it, but you cannot speak of weapons.
I meant of an occasion when the nation is taken over by armed persons.
Point of order. There are a few main political parties in Parliament. Then there are the other minor parties, and we have allowed those parties to speak today as well. According to the Constitution, you cannot speak of weapons here. We will not allow that.
We were pleased when your name was proposed by the Prime Minister to the post of Speaker. We recall the time when you were the Mayor of Colombo, how you proved that you are suitable for any position. You give new meaning to the good governance concept.
This Parliament has a great responsibility. Most importantly, it needs to create an environment that will make provision for all communities to live with dignity.
We believe that the Speaker will serve in an unbiased manner in taking measures to resolve the issues of the Tamil-speaking people.
Views were expressed on the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. I believe measures would be taken in a way that the minority parties and minority communities would not be treated in an unjust manner.
You are assuming this high office at a very critical and crucial juncture in the history of this country. The war became an excuse for many other wrongs to be committed in the name of the country. The country wants to look at things afresh. That is the verdict of the people on January 8th and August 17th. The dignity of this House needs to be restored. The dignity of Parliament was seriously eroded in the years gone by. The independence of several institutions, including the judiciary, needs to be restored.
It is my fervent hope, Honourable Speaker, that you, at this important juncture in our nation's history, is now in charge of this August Assembly, through which all of us, members belonging to different ethnic groups, would be able to celebrate the diversity of this nation through the dignified manner in which we conduct ourselves during deliberations in this August Assembly.
Thereafter, Thilanga Sumdithpala was appointed as Deputy Speaker of Parliament. TNS Selvam Adaikilanathan was elected as the Deputy Chairman of the committee. UMP's Lakshman Kirela was appointed as the Leader of the House, and Kayantha Karunathilaka was appointed Chief Government Whip of Sri Lanka's 8th Parliament. Several highlights were reported from the new Parliament today. Former Executive President Mahinda Rajapaksa was being sworn in as an MP. In addition, the Chief Minister of 3 provinces was sworn in as MPs today. They were the Chief Minister of the Uva Province Harin Fernando, Chief Minister of the Western Province Prasanna Ranatunga, and Chief Minister of the Northwestern Province Tayasiri Jayasekara. Moreover, Brother Arjuna Ranatunga, Prasanna Ranatunga and Vasant Aluvihara, Ranjit Aluvihara were sworn in as MPs. Anoma Gamage and Daya Gamage, husband and wife, took oaths as MPs today. Brothers Mahinda Rajapaksa and Chamal Rajapaksa are represented in the 8th Parliament, while Mahinda Rajapaksa's son, Namal Rajapaksa, also represents the legislature. Dr. Rajitha Senaratne and Chatura Senaratne, both father and son, were elected as MPs. There was also some good news announced at today's inaugural sessions.
The voters are requesting that certain tasks be carried out. Those who cast the preferential votes are making requests. Therefore, we have decided to increase the decentralized funds of the MPs for the coming year.
Here's a brief look at the careers of the new Speaker, Deputy Speaker and Deputy Chairman of committees.
Karu Jayasuriya, who was elected as the Speaker of the 8th Parliament, received his primary education at the Kandagamo Mahavidyalaya in Mirigama and moved to Ananda College, Colombo for his secondary education. After receiving his further education at the UK Chartered Institute of Shipping Agency, he obtained higher education from institutions in Great Britain and France on marketing and commerce. Serving his professional life as a commissioned officer for the Sri Lankan Army in 1965, he bid farewell to his military service in 1972. A renowned businessman by profession and a diplomat, Karu Jayasuriya entered into active politics in the year 1996. He, who also served as the chairman of the United National Party, was appointed as Mayor of Colombo in 1997. Holding the post of the opposition leader of the Western Provincial Council, Karu Jayasuriya was elected to Parliament in 2000. Appointed as the Minister of Power and Energy in 2001 from the United National Front, he later served as the Minister of Public Administration. He was elected to Parliament this year from the UNP National List and previously served as the Deputy Leader of the UNP and the Chairman of the UNP Leadership Council. Thilanga Sumdithpala, who was elected as the Deputy Speaker from this day onwards for 6 years to come, was a businessman before entering politics. Elected to the Western Provincial Council in 2009, he later contested to enter Parliament. He was appointed as the Deputy Minister of Skills Development and Vocational Training in the last regime. Although he lost this time around when he contested for the general elections from the Colombo district, he entered Parliament through the national list of the UPFA. Appointed as the deputy chairman of committees, Selvam Adekalanathan is the leader of TELO, which is a coalition partner of the Tamil National Alliance. He has represented Parliament 4 times from the Vanni district since the year 2000.
Now, subsequent to the inaugural session of Parliament, several MPs expressed the following views to the media.
I made a pledge to carry out the responsibility that I was vested with in an unbiased manner. I will fulfill the pledge that I have made. We saw a collective of the political parties. The SLFP MPs are to be seated in the opposition, and if they are to operate separately, it is the SLFP that needs to be worried. Our aspiration is to bring about a state governance structure that has never been witnessed throughout history. Through this, we hope that the people will benefit from the resources of the country and be able to uplift their livelihoods. I can say that we have taken a new step towards that. We need to make use of this opportunity that we have and bring about the required political reconstruction. I hope that this parliament will be able to move forward on that premise. Our aspiration is to take the country forward. We need to stop the system that arouses nationalism. The 8th Parliament of the country is the entrance to a proper program that will keep the nation in a high position. I believe as public representatives we can fulfill that responsibility that was vested in us by the people of the country. We are positive about it. Today we have all joined hands to work for the people. Through this we will never allow the corruption and fraud to be undermined. We have always been committed to create a clean parliament. Today both political parties have come together for the country. I view this as a victory for the people. Within these 5 years we will create a consensual government and ensure that the people benefit from it. A consensual government is exemplary. It is also the responsibility of the Maitri rule to ensure that the accused are not spared. It is also the responsibility of the UNP government. I believe that the changed nation will move on the right path and those who committed wrongs in the past are punished. The wrongs of the past must not be repeated. We will create 5,000 industries and 60 vocational training centers and also create industrial zones in the country. We hope to do this aiming for the future. These industries will also generate new employment opportunities and bring in new technology to the country. This will also see the flow of foreign investments to the country. This task will see the eradication of poverty and allocations for education and health will be increased.
The President and the Prime Minister are united. The President is operating in an independent manner. Leader of the United National Party is the Prime Minister, and the seniors of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party are also supportive of the national government. I believe that it is a good thing that the two main parties have come together to solve the major issues of the country.
We need to develop the economy so that the normal person will see their dreams come true. We hope to work with the Prime Minister to ensure that this task is achieved.
Welcome back to the news. The Tamil National Alliance Parliamentary Group has decided to appoint R. Sambandhan as the leader of the opposition. This decision was arrived at subsequent to a parliamentary group meeting of the Tamil National Alliance, where R. Sambandhan will continue to act as the TNA's parliamentary group leader. Now, furthermore, the TNA parliamentary group had also agreed to accept the post of deputy chairman of committees.
Former chairman of the Independent Television Network, or ITN, Anura Siriwardena, was summoned before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry today.
The secretary to the commission said that Siriwardena was summoned for interrogation over the ITN suffering large-scale monetary losses amounting to over 200 million rupees. I was asked on the financial losses suffered by the independent television network. I informed them of the information that I know. There was a pending bill from the presidential election for the former president mounting to around 115 million rupees. In addition, a sum of 89.9 million rupees was paid for the campaign of the incumbent president. However, the campaign was not carried out as mentioned. Therefore, the money had been returned. Based on the quotations, the current president was charged 200 when the former was charged only 100. That were the charges mentioned. We are investigating such a transaction.
The inaugural sessions of the Defence Seminar 2015 got underway in Colombo today. Themed as national security in the context of emerging global threats, the Defence Seminar saw the participation of scholars, intellectuals, policymakers and military leaders drawn from more than 40 countries.
When the chief guest arrives.
Former President of Afghanistan Hamid Karzai presided over the inaugural session of the two-day defence seminar.
That there will not be an end to extremism or terrorism unless we in the international community begin to see terrorism as a common threat to all of us. We will never be able to end terrorism if some of us find uses for it. Eventually, it is going to be a threat to all, as it is today, emerging to be a threat to all. Unfortunately, the world today is comprised of nation states. We don't have an international order without borders. We are defined by borders, by nation states, and the interests arising from the existence of nation states. It is impossible for any state actor to be active and to be able to inflict damage to any other country, society, or individual without a backup support system somewhere for that group or that person. The world has only two options if it wants to be free from terrorism and extremism. The return of morality to international politics. That we conduct our politics within our countries and beyond with some moral restrictions on us.
A special memento was presented to the former Afghan president by the Sri Lankan military. Thereafter, the Secretary of Defence also addressed the gathering.
While the frequency of conflicts between states and within states has reduced, the increasing prevalence and power of such non-state actors demands our attention. Sri Lanka is no stranger to these dangers, having suffered from nearly 3 decades of horrific violence at the hands of a brutal terrorist organization. Although the defeat of the terrorists in May 2009 paved the way for peace and for rapid post-conflict development, our security forces and law enforcement agencies must remain vigilant about emerging threats including drug smuggling, human trafficking and organized crime.
Key areas of interest for nations were discussed during the day session at the 2015 Defence Seminar.
Representing all. The Sri Lanka-Pakistan Trade and Investment Forum was held in Colombo last evening. Speaking at the event, Chairman of the BOI, Upul Jayasuriya, elaborated on the government's decision on unsolicited offers.
The event was graced by the Pakistan High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, retired Major General Syed Shajik Hussain.
The honeymoon period that was there for unsolicited offers with regard to the road development, I think is now over. So, all good things have come to an end. The good things that were there for some people, yes. When you said intransparent, yes, that was the case. We have to learn from the past and to put the future right.
Mementos were exchanged between the Sri Lankan and Pakistani delegations.
An investment forum. Mr. Imran would also like to present a token of appreciation to the Ceylon Chambers.
The Northern Provincial Council passed a resolution today to conduct an international inquiry on the alleged violations of human rights and international humanitarian law. The proposal was tabled by Northern Province Chief Minister C.V. Vigneshwaran. However, 5 members of the opposition, including leader of the opposition C. Thavarasa, abstained from voting for the proposal.
The sitting took place in the premises of the Northern Provincial Council, located in Kaitari, Jaffna.
The Council calls upon the international community to set up an international tribunal to try those alleged to have committed international crimes against the Tamil people in Sri Lanka. We urge the new leaders of the Sri Lankan government to be courageous enough to work with the international community to set up a credible international mechanism which will deliver justice and put this nation on a path of meaningful reconciliation. Thank you.
Members of the ruling party extended their support to the proposal, which was to conduct an international inquiry on the alleged violations of human rights and international humanitarian law. The next sitting of the Northern Provincial Council will convene on the 22nd of September.
A special all-night Pirit chanting ceremony is set to commence tonight at the sacred grounds of the Somavati Chaitya to invoke blessings on the country, as well as to mark the birthday of President Maithripala Sirisena, which falls on the 3rd of September. The Pirit ceremony is being organized by Newsfirst, Sirasa and Shakti. President Maithripala Sirisena is also scheduled to attend the Pirit chanting ceremony tomorrow morning. We would like to notify our viewers that the all-night Pirit chanting ceremony will be telecast live on Sirasa TV at 10:30 p.m. today. Meanwhile, multi-religious ceremonies will be held across the island tomorrow to mark the President's birthday. And that is a wrap of primetime news here on News First. For the News First team, I am Shahin Durangpati.
And I'm Katharina Chang, wishing you a pleasant evening ahead.